So today we're very excited to have Dr. Floyd Wormley from Texas Christian University. And our topic today is From the Bench to the Boardroom, a microbiologist's journey to Provost. So today's guest is someone who has lived at the intersection of science, leadership, and student success. His journey from microbiology lab to academic leaderships is a fascinating look at how scientific thinking can shape institutional change. Today, we talk about his path, his passion for student success, and what it takes to lead a university in today's world. Dr. Wormley, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a blessing to be with you today.
Well, excellent. Well, I always like to start off our podcast. Let's talk about you specifically before we jump into the institution. Who are the mentors that help shape your path from lab bench, if you will, or lab-based research to the provost's office?
Oh my goodness. And if I'm thinking about this, I'm gonna mention a lot of people. I'm gonna forget someone, but it goes back to my days in graduate school where my graduate mentor, Dr. Paul Fidel at Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center, really instilled in me a great sense of work ethic. Working hard to get the results of the experiment, seeing things through, and the value of of the work ethic and just being able to put the time in that's required to get things done. And from there, I go to my graduate career, going through as a when I once I graduated and was a postdoc at Duke Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. My mentor there was John Perfect. I always say that I found myself the perfect lab when I was working with Dr. John Perfect. It was his kindness. He was brilliant, but he was such a kind individual. And so when I was in my dealings with people, I just notice how he let his kindness and committed to the research shine through. And then I was surrounded by also prolific researchers and Joe Hyman at Duke and Tora Costa Duvall and now at Johns Hopkins, and them being just prolific researchers and knowing what level of research that I needed to try to do. And then into my as an assistant professor, one of my great friends and mentors, Dr. Jose Lopez Rebo. What I liked about him that he was this brilliant and kind person, but he was so efficient in everything that he did. What it would take a week for me to do, he would be able to do in one day. And then so then that's the research side of the hospital. When I look at the service leadership side of the house, it was my then associate pastor of my church, who rose to become the pastor of the church. When he was an associate pastor, how he would lead by being a great follower and provide great assistance to our pastor at the time, and then how he led, and to my job here now, Chancellor Emeritus, and how he was the chancellor of the university, but he led with so much kindness, and he led with the mission going first. And so, with all that being said, when I look at those who I work with over the years, those who are at the height of their research careers or the height of their careers in higher education leadership, it was no doubt how great they were in their jobs, but they also were able to do it by being service leaders and being kind to people. And so that's what I like to try to bring to what I do, putting the time in to do what I need to what needs to be done, but try to do it being empathetic to those who I work with and just being a kind individual while doing it.
Well, excellent. And when you look at your path, what led you from that science and research into that academic leadership role? Was there a specific moment that kind of helped you realize, hey, you know what? I want to take on this leadership role and kind of move away from science and research.
When I tell you, at the time when I first got into administration as an associate dean at the University of Texas at San Antonio, I was asked to serve as the associate dean of research for our College of Sciences. And most people who I spoke to said, don't do it. Because I was doing such a good job in publishing well and had grants and was doing such a good job in research. They thought that this would pretty much suck all the research life out of me. But at the time, it was such a great opportunity to be of service to my colleagues at the university. And I got along well with so many people with the leadership of the institution. So I saw this as, again, when I think of being a service leader, an opportunity to jump in on the administrative side to help bring resources to faculty who I work with. And then I was promoted to being associate dean of research and graduate studies. And what I liked about that was academia made me to be the person that I am today, as far as getting a PhD, working my way up through being an assistant professor. I wanted to give back to those other graduate students and to help them um, achieve their goals. And so it was my ability to work in administration to give back to two things that I loved, and that is the education of graduate students as well as research. And so throughout all my time, and even till this day, I still have a research lab now, and I still do research. Now, I will admit most of my day is on the administrative part, and but I have great people in the lab who keep those things going for me.
And now, are you still able to teach today?
Well, what I give seminars and I give lectures, but I don't have enough time to hold down a whole course. Um, it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of time and effort to teach right, particularly when you're teaching an entire course 2 to 3 times a week. And before I do it and do it haphazardly, I will prefer just to support those who do it. So I would give, our seminars, I would give training workshops and webinars, and I would give lectures according to my expertise. But I can't trust myself right now with holding down a whole course for a whole semester.
Yeah, that's a lot on your plate, I'm
It's a,
sure.
it's a lot, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about TCU, Texas Christian University. So, what makes TCU so great?
Oh, I would tell you what makes TCU so great is our true commitment to our mission and to our values. And so so when I talk about our values of integrity, of community, of engagement, of excellence, every time that we have make a decision around our institution, we think about how we incorporate our values into the decisions that we make to benefit our students, to benefit our faculty, and to benefit our staff. And so we take our values front forward in our service to our students. And I think that you can tell, I know that our students can tell, and I know that our faculty and staff can tell that it's just a different culture and environment at TCU. So when I first came to TCU, I heard that, this was this great university, you're going to love it there. But then when I got there, the first thing that I said to our chancellor at the time, Chancellor Boschini, after 2 weeks of being here, I said, I love it here, but the people here are weird. They just so nice and so kind. But it's contagious. And so after being here for a week or two, you see someone who needs help, you jump in. You don't like show them where the post office is. You walk them to the post office. You don't tell our students how to get to the health center. You walk them to the health center. I've even driven people from one side of the other campus to the other side of the campus because it was a hot day, and I escorted them to the other side of campus, and they don't know what my position is. It don't really matter because this is what we do every day. So I think our commitment to the mission, our commitment to our students, and our commitment to each other makes this not only a place where you can get a premier great education, but it's a place that you want to show up to every day and that you want to give back to your students and actually give back to each other. So I just love TCU, not just as a school of higher learning, but as a place that people actually live out our mission and live out our values.
Well, and I think oftentimes today you hear about how higher education is being challenged, the value of
Yes.
higher education is
Yes.
being challenged. And I think just as you described the many reasons why a college education, and also just what the value of higher education is all about. And I think it starts with your experience on
Yes.
campus.
Yes. And again, when I talk about our mission is to educate ethical leaders and responsible citizens in a global society. And so you have to take that to heart, and you have to actually provide an infrastructure around that to make that happen. And so, yes, it's in the curriculum and it's in what you do and what you teach, but it's also in the experiences that you provide the students. Before our students even step foot on their first day in class, we have frog camps where we bring all our horned frog, soon to be horned frogs, into camps and where they learn and meet each other and grow together and make connections before that first day of school. Because we find that when you become connected to the university and connected to a cohort of people, you are actually retained and that you do better and that your experiences are better because you have friends, you're not a stranger on campus anymore. And in order to make those frog camps happen, we have volunteers. It's our staff and our faculty that volunteer their times over the summer to do things, whether in the Fort Worth area or places like Copenhagen, Germany, Switzerland, Iceland, and that we take our students to. So we really value having a connected campus and bringing our students together. And we do that via volunteer hours for a lot of our staff and our faculty to make that happen. But when you think about the value of an education, yes, you can get a diploma, but for us, the value of an education is not just what you learn in the classroom, it's what you learn from those around you and from how we shape you as a person in order to be the best person that you want to be when you leave here.
Well, that leads me to my next question around student success. I mean, I think a big part of that is obviously, students that are coming in the door and are new student enrollments. That's very important for an institution. But, and even greater task and probably something that's even more of a goal for the institution is making sure that students persist,
Yes.
students graduate. But
Yeah.
to your point, students are successful. And I believe, as you described, it really starts with belonging.
Yes, that is huge to us, that sense of belonging. So, for example, we have a couple of initiatives on campus that we talk about how to prepare our students for various courses, whether it be chemistry or calculus or economics, and what can we do to prepare them. And so, as we have the conversations, one thing that keeps sticking out is, yes, we are providing, curriculum to prepare our students for the classroom, but what seems to be a vital component to our students persisting is that sense of belonging, that they are connecting with their cohort that they're working with, they're connecting with the professor, and they're connecting with the campus. And when you have that sense of belonging, that people are there for you and for you to be successful, when you are feeling depressed, you go seek out help. And not only do you seek out help, we are there with you. And if we notice something is not right, we actually come and talk to you. We actually have systems on campus that if a professor notices a student not doing well, they're able to engage our mental health services, our counseling services, and have them do outreach to our students. So that we don't wait for our students to come to us. We actually go meet the students where they are. If we know that our students are not performing well academically, we have systems in place and where we have staff to go reach out to the students to meet them where they are, because we want our students to know that we care about them, we care about their success, and we're willing to provide the resources necessary for each and every one of our students, no matter where they come from and no matter where they're trying to go, that they're successful.
Well, and you talk about meeting students where they are. And so how does that differ when you're talking about a traditional age, recent high school graduate student versus, what's termed an adult learner, that a
Yeah.
24-year and older student, and even an international student? How do you meet each of those different types of students where they are, especially based on where they are in their lives, which is very different in many cases.
Oh, yes. And so oftentimes when we think about a college student, we think about that 18, 19-year-old, or sometimes late 17-year-old who's graduating from high school and is rolling into college. But over my entire career, I've come to see a number of students who are joining us after, for example, careers in the military, who had taken a gap year or tried or went out there into the workforce and realized that they need to come back for a higher education. And so we have students that are coming to us, even if they are 18 or 19 years old. Some are from the West Coast, East Coast, North, South, International. They bring different experiences and they bring different levels of preparation to the campus. And we have people who are, yes, 18, 19, but some are 28, 29 who come with us. And the things that you are interested in as a 18, 19-year-old are not the things that you're interested in when you're 26, 27, 28. And so it's very important that we are actually not just surveying our students, but actually have our students involved and the decisions that we make, and that's going to guide their experience on campus. Yes, what concepts we have on campus, but what other type of health and mental health services that you need? How can we reach out to you? But also, how do we engage those experiences in the classroom? I remember back when I was teaching those courses in my microbiology lab, in my microbiology classroom, I would have students who were medics in the military in the Middle East that will come to know about diseases that we don't see in the U.S. Or they were stationed in Africa and will know about diseases that we don't see in the U.S. So they can talk to us about these diseases in the classroom. And I found that the other students listened more intently and actually brought it in. And so sometimes you can help these students by letting them share their experiences and what they've learned in the classroom environment. And I find that to be very compelling to help students establish a further sense of belonging. And actually, it takes the load off of me because they're not just hearing it from me.
Right. Oh, exactly. That can go a long way. And when you look at career readiness,
Mm.
how does TCU make sure that students are career ready, whether that's aligning with employers or, at the very least, obviously, being able to provide the training that will allow a student to go out and be successful in the workforce and align with the job that they will be doing?
Well, oh, that's a great question, and we do that a couple of multiple different ways. One is that we engage our corporate sponsors, we engage those who are employing our students, into letting us know what sort of curriculum tweaks that we need to make along the way. Yes, we have established curriculum, but we are always reviewing our curriculum to ensure that our curriculum has those components that need to prepare them for the workforce or for graduate school or for professional schools. The other thing that we do is that we also not only engage directly from the administrative side with our partners, we also have our faculty engaging with them. Because many of our faculty look like me in that we spent all our time in graduate school, maybe did a postdoc or a residency after that, and then went into education and never went into the corporate side of the house. And so it was important for some of our faculty who spent decades in academia to also go out into corporate America to see what we are doing in the classroom, how that impacts what they need on the corporate side of the house, but also through experiential learning opportunities. And these
Mhm.
experiential learning opportunities are different for each discipline. So for a business major, that might be an internship for a investment company. For a person in biology or chemistry, that might be on campus that you are in a laboratory working. For someone who's in a theater, that means that you are working on a theatrical performance or in dance. Or for someone in humanities or liberal arts, it could be all the above, or working out with some of our non-for-profit partners in the community and community engaged processes. So things that we try to do is incorporate multiple different types of experiential learning opportunities within the curriculum, or if not within the curriculum, but within time that they have within the curriculum to take part of these, so that they can actually go out there and apply what they've learned in the classroom or in the field or in the theater or the dance hall to a real life work related function.
Mhm. Mhm. So nationally, we're seeing an increase in the number of students that have some credit but no credential.
Um,
Today there's over 43 million people across the country that fall into that category. Um, how does TCU, what's your strategy about bringing back, in many cases, non-traditional students at,
yes.
at this time, but those students that maybe stopped out, or for our audience, dropped out and did not earn a degree as of yet? How do you re-engage them and bring them back and win them back, if you will?
Yes. And that's again, you're killing me. These are great questions. And so oftentimes it is very individual why people drop out or stop out of school. For example, we've had a situation where a student could not come back and join classes this semester because their parent went overseas and couldn't get back in the country, so they were left alone with their siblings. What we did with that student is to say, you know what, we're going to provide you online online availability to your courses till your parent comes back so that you can come back on campus. We've had people who were unable to continue because of financial situations. So we go and find scholarships or different financial aid mechanisms in order to engage them back into the classroom. Some people may not be able to because they feel like maybe when I'm not prepared or I didn't do as well as I thought I could do. We talk to them and say, what can we do to provide you the supports for you to come back and take part in your education? Some individuals they mean well. They do take a year off. Sometimes maybe for health related reasons or mental health related reasons. What we try to do is provide them with the help that they need, and then we stay engaged with them. And that could be as little as calling them back up to say, we're looking forward to you joining us again. Is there anything that you need, anything that we help? We keep engaging them so that they know that they're not forgotten and that they're not lost. And while there's no perfect way of doing things, valuing the individual and the individual factors allow you to be able to bring back as many of those as possible. Many institutions are able to take the financial hit off the table by, for example, saying that if there's a gap between what you can afford and what the college costs, we can provide you, we can meet that gap. We're starting to do that with our TCU for Texans program, in which if your family makes below $70,000 a year, we will meet whatever gap that you need in order to afford that housing, the tuition, and books on campus. We would love to generate enough donor support so we can do that for everybody who applies to TCU. And some universities are able to do that, like your Yales and your Princetons and whatnot. But what we would like to be able to do is to take the financial worry off of our students. We're not there yet, but we're working towards being able to do that. But other than that, engaging them on whatever the mental health needs that they have, scholarly needs that they have, or their physical health needs, we try to work with them on a one-on-one basis, let them know that we care about them, that we hear from them, and that we're able to welcome back into the fold whenever they are able to come back.
So I'm going to ask you to bring out your crystal ball here for a
All
minute.
right.
And when you look at Texas Christian University, where do you see the institution in 10 years?
Oh, wonderful. In 10 years. So as you may know, we have a brand new strategic plan. We're in year one of that 10-year strategic plan. And that strategic plan calls for TCU to be a premier educational and research university for the North Texas area as well as nationally. And so what that means for us is we are striving for excellence in everything that we do on a scholarship side, on the research side, but also in our delivery of an education to our students. And so where many institutions may focus on just research and building up their research, we're not focused on just building up our research. We want to make sure that everything that we do is excellent, whether that may be our dance department, our English department, our biology department, or our Department of Education. And so when I fast forward and think of TCU 10 years from now, I am confident that we're going to be considered one of the top institutions of higher learning in the country, a top 50 private institution for higher learning. We're going to have the most modern, up-to-date technologies and facilities for our students to learn, to work, and to do research and other forms of scholarship and creative activity. And we're going to be looked at as a top destination school, a top choice school. Meaning every time you think about what is my number one choice to go receive my degree, whether that be a bachelor's degree, a certificate, a master's degree, a PhD, a EDD, or whatever D you want to get, the TCU is at the top as your top choice. So that's where I see us being in 10 years, and I see us sustaining that and growing upon that, going for the next 20, 30, or our next 150 years.
Well, that is great. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time again, Dr. Floyd Wormley over at Texas Christian University. Thank you again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Go Frogs.